This is a restricted area. Drill or something? Negative. It's fine by me. I hate drill. Ah! You crazy mother.
Welcome to the official podcast of the Brewmasters Club, Craft Brews and Geek News. Sit back, pour yourself a pint, and let's get into it. Now here's the founder of the Brewmasters Club and your host, Donnie Gallagher.
All right, everybody, this is Donnie here, and we are the Brewmasters Club official podcast, Craft Brews and Geek News. First off, we are here today to talk about some national stories, of course, beer, craft beer primarily, local flavors, and our favorite geeky nuggets of pop culture. Of course, my name is Donnie Gallagher. I'm the founder of the Brewmasters Club, and I'm here today with Dane. Dane, coming from Tennessee, how are you?
Hey guys, I'm Dane, and I like to party.
All right. Yeah, we've got Nick as well. Nick.
Evening at this point, everyone, and just checking in from Lakeland, Florida, and I like to party as well.
All right, and lastly, the guy that has joined us here is Ryan from Tampa. Ryan.
Hey guys, coming in over here to Tampa, and I don't like to party at all. So,
Ryan's
I'm not as fun as these guys.
Just a stick in the mud. All right, so to kick things off, what we're going to do here today is we're going to talk about a slew of different topics and stories, some news and some personal opinions, and different things that we find interesting or that we may have done throughout the week. This is our third podcast, episode number 3, and as we kind of started this podcast, if you guys remember back 2-3 weeks ago now, we kind of had an intro as to what is craft beer, so I thought it would be only relevant and timely to talk about kind of the series of craft beer as a whole. So in the first episode, we learned a little bit about what is craft beer. Today, I want to talk about some various styles. So I know we've all kind of been over the last 3 weeks, talking about the, beer, and of course, we're all beer fans, so we've been drinking a lot of them and learning different things. But a little quick history lesson. What exactly is a beer style? Basically, it was first used in 1997. There was a book called The World Guide to Beer. This was basically broke down beer into different categories, so appearance, flavor, things like that, production, history, and origin. Nowadays, there's so many different beers out there, but with different hundreds of styles available. I just kind of wanted to throw it out there and say, guys, what are some of your favorites? I can lead us off. I was talking to Nick yesterday. I've always loved IPAs, the India Pale Ales, the history on those. Of course, as we all know, Britain made beer. They colonized India. They brought the beer from Britain to India. It would spoil, so they threw hops in there. Hops are a natural preservative. That preservative actually kept the beer a lot longer over the 6-9 year-long journey. So that's when IPA came up. I also like Belgians, but Nick, you were just harping on something new that you've tried. What is it that you are vibing on at the moment?
I'm currently enjoying Tripels, which they're not exactly my normal type of beer, but they're actually something I'm gravitating towards. It's not a gravity joke or anything of that nature, but it's I do enjoy Tripels. I'm a huge fan of light beer, but I'm trying to stray away from that as of recent. And actually, to be honest with you, I'm just seeing where this road takes me as of right now.
And you're getting out of your comfort zone, which is always fun. Ryan, what have you been into recently?
Yeah, I actually got a mocha porter from Rogue over here tonight that I'm going to be trying out. And, porters are maybe not as, strong in thickness as stouts, but evidently porters also originated in England, or London, I should say, from well-hopped beers that were made from brown malt. So it's a little bit of history over there in the 18th century. Pretty cool information there. But, that's what I got going on. Dane, what about you? In the mountains, what do you got?
Yeah, just the other day, had Gatlinburg Brewing Company's Pilsner. It's a microbrewery here in Gatlinburg, and pretty sharp taste. Not a huge Pilsner fan myself, but I have been trying a lot of them because that's all I've been really able to try as far as microbrews and craft brews go. So just mainly Pilsners, not a huge Pilsner fan, but take what I can get.
Yeah, no doubt. So part of this initial story here, what I was trying to get at is that, as Nick is kind of learning as he's going around his travels and he's getting different, brewery experience and trying different things outside of his comfort zone. I mentioned that I love IPAs. I came across a story. It was learned to love craft beer, namely an IPA or a hoppy beer. People get scared. They think that those beers are gonna shock your taste buds, and they certainly will. The piney flavor, the citrusy, it's rough. It's a little bit tough on the taste buds, but the article went on to mention that there's a lot of beers that are a good or easy way to get into IPAs, and some of those, we're just simply offering a double IPA. A double IPA is made a little bit hoppier, but it's also a little bit maltier, so it's got a little bit softer palate run. It's a cool way to try beers, but our IPA beers, they've got a lot more sugar than most, so alcohol is going to be up there. But again, that flavor won't kick it too bad. Have any of you guys tried a double IPA that you've really liked or not liked for any particular reason?
We've actually talked about this one before on the show, and I've got the Torpedo double IPA right now, so it's funny you mentioned going with that, but the hops in an IPA can be a little bit overpowering for some people that have never tried it. And I know the first time that I had it, going from Miller Lite, it's a bit of a change, and it can take a while to get used to, but it's also good to just kind of dive right in with the IPAs, So
yeah, very good. Anybody else try to double recently that you had any story about?
Can't say that I have, unfortunately.
I don't like them. I'll just say that.
That's all right. You don't have to, but I'm telling you, they're a nice way to kind of warm up to it. I had one other article that was in terms of interesting and relevant, new beer news. I personally work in the hospitality industry or the attractions industry here in Tampa Bay, and there's a big DMO, so it's like basically the big driving factor for outside traffic to Tampa Bay. And there was this article in the Tampa Bay Business Journal that came out and said that Visit Tampa Bay, which is this organization that brings in all this tourism, is tapping into the beer and culture market for the first time. They're spending $250,000 focused around couples, beer lovers, and travelers from Chicago, Dallas, Orlando, all over the place to bring them into Hillsborough County to explore this craft beer market that's kind of exploding here. You're going to see this in Facebook, on advertising, everything here in the local market, but it's basically Brew with a View, focusing on how Tampa Bay is this emerging beer market, but it's also got this amazing area to just grow up and have fun. So I just wanted to share that with you guys because a lot of you guys are local. I know Dane, you're not, but I thought that kind of interesting. I mean, $250,000 is a lot of money to put on a tourism industry for beer lovers. I mean, think about that for a second, Nick. Like, what if Lakeland was going to drop $250,000 just to try and attract beer lovers? I mean, to the Lakeland breweries, it's kind of bizarre, right?
I think if Lakeland was going to drop $250,000 on anything, it would be showing up on a map.
Yeah, sure.
Secondly, we'd probably turn around and invest a little bit and maybe some infrastructure, some highways that don't turn on, 87-degree angles and things of that nature. But, I mean, if there was a competitor to the actual Lakeland brewery that isn't the Yingling factory down the street in Tampa, I mean, I think that would probably definitely change things. That would change how they approach launching some of their, say, more abstract beers. Because a lot of them are seasonal, and they end up rolling them in and rolling them out within a matter of weeks. And I don't know that there's enough exposure for them to get off the ground, if you will. That's something that I've noticed with their seasonal beers. Is they're gone before I can even read the menu. So how the heck would they even take it?
Dane or Ryan, do you guys have any ideas on that?
I think where I'm at now in Gatlinburg, I'm just on vacation, but I think if Gatlinburg or Pigeon Forge, which is close by, would spend that kind of money on anything related to alcohol, I think it'd be moonshine.
Sure.
The distilleries here, there's Gatlinburg's got 3 of them just down the main road. I went to Old Smoky the other day and bought me some apple pie. So I think if anything, it'd be moonshine distilleries. And where I'm from now, Jacksonville, they would not spend that kind of money on alcohol. If anything, they'd get rid of it with all the young Marines there acting all crazy.
Well, they're clearly trying to make it a beer destination. Ryan, here in Tampa Bay, did you have any thoughts, Ryan, on that?
Yeah, no, I think it's smart to get all the craft beer breweries that are in this area more exposure and advertising out there to like you said, Chicago and different states, where even in Chicago, I was just there recently for my honeymoon, and there's a lot of craft breweries out there. You've got was it Goose Island and everything else. There's a couple of really good breweries like Revolution Brewery out there that could, they could almost kind of talk to each other in a way too. People could come here and maybe branch it out. I think it's great exposure. So more power to it. I hope it takes off. I hope it's successful.
Yeah, well, it's funny. Like our last episode, we were talking about beer tourism, and so this is just another relevant article that's like, man, I guess like we had kind of forecasted it, and we had some discussion about, is it something that's going to happen? Is it a thing that's just for tourists, or is it a kind of a fad? And clearly that kind of investment for a strictly attractions, Busch Gardens, SeaWorld, theme park kind of motivator. So it's a lot of money to put against a campaign like that. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes. But we'll be here, so we can, boots on the ground. We'll fill you in.
You think they'll be building a hotel anytime soon, a craft brewery hotel?
I don't think we have. It'd be what, Cigar City? I mean, I don't think we have that kind of swagger down here.
That would be the biggest possibility, Tampa Brewing, but.
Yeah. I just don't think we have the chutzpah, but maybe we do. Who knows? All right, so moving on. Basically, this next segment here, what we're going to do is about, and this is called App News. We kind of covered a little bit of local news, so we'll kind of skip over that this time. But again, this segment what we do is we talk a little bit about the Brewmasters Club. We are a iPhone currently app that is available to help guide folks on their beer journey, just like we've been talking about over these last few episodes. We are not your replacement social media network. We are an app that is here as a tool to be used when you go out to a restaurant and you want to say, I'm having a spicy fish sandwich. What do I drink with that? You input those selections and we'll tell you what kind of beer to drink and where to find it. Really, here is a tool, and that's about it. But we are crowd-funded, we are crowd-supported, and we are a community-driven app. So your insight helps shape the app and what we look like tomorrow or the next day or 2 years from now. So please, do share with us, do connect with us on Twitter, Facebook, and all the regular means through Brewmasters Club, at Brewmasters Club. Moving on to the next segment that we have here. It's called What Are You Drinking and What Are You Going to Drink? I think I wanted to open up this with Nick because he had so much information and insight on what he is drinking and what he will be drinking soon. Nick, go ahead.
Yes. So so what I actually am currently is actually made by Victory, and it is the Golden Monkey, which I recently fell in love with. I'll be honest, originally out of availability. I went to over in Orlando, I went to the Animal Kingdom, and it just happens to be one of the beers that they have on tap at Animal Kingdom in one of the bars by Expedition Everest. And had it once, loved it. The ABV on it, 9.5. So it was more of a bargain buy.
I'll knock you on your ass.
And a little on the hoppy side, but it's a great way to get into it. But all right, yep. In any event, that's what I'm excited about drinking currently. And in terms of looking forward, there are a couple of Lakeland breweries or Lakeland beers that I'm looking into getting into, but all of them are at least a significant amount of charge. So that's something that I'm just trying to work on. I walk through the Lakeland brewery pretty much every other day saying, what's my next step? And they say, okay, so you can actually see through your beer. Let's go ahead and knock it out. And that's what they put me. So tasting a lot, learning a lot, but right now for me, it's got to be the Golden Monkey.
Very good.
Golden Monkey.
So I want to take a moment here just so we can chime in with our friend here, world traveler Christian Roberts. He is currently muted just so his background noise doesn't mess up the rest of the podcast here. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna let him talk here for a second. Christian Roberts, you were joining us from Japan, is it not? Hold on, let me get you back online here.
Okay, I'm here.
Yay! So I know you're
technical glitches.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I'm gonna take all that out in post. Don't worry about it. So, anyways, Christian Roberts, what's up, man? Fill us in a little bit.
How's it going, guys? Here in Japan, sitting in a hostel in Tokyo. Been exploring, tasting the beers in Japan. Really great here. Have you guys had Itachi Nest? It's one of their big ones here, or Sake or Sapporo.
Sapporo. I mean, everybody says Sapporo.
Yeah, Sapporo is pretty much like their Budweiser.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, it is. It's their biggest brewery.
Is Budweiser an import?
They have some Budweiser, yeah.
Krabby, so I want to catch up with you. I want to catch up with you big time, but I want to get through this. We probably got about 25 minutes left. Do you want to stick around, or?
Sure.
What I want to talk about today was the Terrapin. It's basically, I don't know if it's probably backwards on this, but it's called Liquid Bliss. It's a chocolate peanut butter porter. Has anybody had this before? Christian, you probably have.
Oh, it's amazing, yeah.
Yeah, those of you who don't know, we've got Christian Roberts here chiming in from Tokyo, Japan. He just joined us, so thank you, buddy. This is actually a really good porter. I've never had it before. This is the first time I had it. Actually got it from a work friend, but they love experimenting at Terrapin. It's a salty sweet combo. It's kind of like chocolate and peanuts, where it's a little bit sweet, it's a little bit salty, but it keeps you salivating regardless. It's very smooth. It's mellow. It's a good enough backbone to it where the richer chocolate flavor comes through with peanut butter. It's just a very good beer. So if you like candy, it tastes like Halloween. It's a great beer to try. So that's what I'm trying.
I'd say, you know what I'm surprised about that beer was the fact that it isn't as sweet as you would think it is.
Right, it's not, but it tastes like chocolate and peanut butter.
It does. It tastes like a Reese's peanut butter cup.
Yeah, I actually like it, and I'm not a huge peanut butter porter guy, but really good.
Same. Yeah, I'm not a dessert beer kind of guy, but that's actually a really good one.
Yeah, well, this has 6.1% alcohol. Like by the fire outside when it's kind of cool outside. I'm telling you, it's a solid beer from Terrapin. But I don't know. You be the judge. Christian, what have you tried over there in Japan or elsewhere, man? What have you been up to?
Oh man, I've had a ton of beer here. Actually, last night I was at a brewery. It's a British brew pub here in Tokyo called Campion, which was really good. It was they do traditional English style, so they had nice bitters, English dark mild, and as well as an English IPA. They even had a wheat beer on too, all of which were really good. The English mild was probably my favorite though. It had a really nice light smoky element to it, that rich malt, but a little bit of a dry finish, but not too overwhelming, which is really pleasant for a beer.
So what's a mild compared to a IPA or whatever? I mean, explain kind of the difference.
So essentially a light, like a dark mild or a mild dark, they're just a dark roast, but it's not like overwhelming like a brown or a porter where it's like you're really strong astringency sometimes or really present from the roast barley. This one's got more of a smoky character, so it's more like a smoked brown, but it has a little more sweetness to it than a brown would.
You said you were having dinner, did one pair better with what you were eating or no?
Well, the dinner involved just beer for that one, but
that was your dinner.
That was my dinner.
Awesome, man. Well, what part of Tokyo are you in right now?
I'm in an area known famously for the Asahi Hall. Asahi has a giant building here with a golden carrot on top.
Awesome.
It's called Asakusa is the name of this, the prefecture.
Very good, very good.
Yeah. So far, I mean, Japan, like, they really do their beers well, especially in Asia. Like, you go around Asia, most other countries, they stick with their pilsners and lagers. Japan likes to keep very diverse palate. Because they had a lot of Dutch and European brewing influence. You'll find a lot of American brewers are coming here and starting breweries.
I never would have guessed Japan is the next destination, but as we're experiencing, beer's kind of going all sorts of different angles, so who knows, man.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah, well, it's good to have you. Ryan, I saw you were circling something. What are you drinking tonight?
Yeah, I've actually got something from the Great Divide Brewing Company. It's called the DPA, the Denver Pale Ale. It's something I've never tried before, but I was drawn to the bottle, so just had my first, and I gotta say, very refreshing pale, first taste, and it's just got a lot of different flavors. So, yeah.
Tell us more.
Well, it's an English style, and it's award-winning. So how about that?
That's good. That's great. Christian, are you in the cantina from Star Wars the movie? Are you in Jabba's palace right now, honestly? Like, what is the... Right. Yeah. Do you have audio? Can you mute it for a second? We'll call you back in.
I gotcha.
Do I need to redo that?
I mean, it was pretty much every other word, so it's up
oh,
to you.
No.
Dane's like, tell us more.
And I thought it was me.
No, it's definitely Christian Roberts in his stupid cantina band.
Can you keep the outtakes on a separate file?
I mean, I'll keep it. I'll just go ahead. If you want to start over again, just go ahead so we can actually hear you.
To keep Blair Witch in this pro the whole life.
And then we'll hear Dane, and then I'll call Christian Roberts back in.
Yeah, Dane, can you get some snot going down through your nose just a little bit? Just, make it a little scary out there. What was that?
So,
I gotta get back into this thing now. So I got something out from Denver. The Denver Pale Ale, Great Divide. Very nice, refreshing pale ale. One that it doesn't really have a long, bitter taste at the end. I kind of really like that. Not too hoppy, obviously, but it was actually in a gold medal winner at the Great American Beer Festival in 1999. Very good beer. Was drawn to the bottle, and I was like, oh, well, let's try that. DPA, why not?
Yeah.
So definitely, if you get to try this, very good. So
I can feel you in that bottle thing, though, because I love turtles and tortoises, so I'm definitely a Terrapin fan just from the label. But, Dane, you kind of hinted on it. What were you drinking, man?
Yeah, a couple of days ago, I was at a burger joint, and they just happened to have a microbrewery in there. Gatlinburg Brewing Company, pretty straightforward. The only beer they had on tap was a pretty straightforward Pilsner. Tried it out, not too bad. Tonight, I was drinking a boring Bud Light that I got at Walgreens down the street. And I've been drinking a lot of moonshine, so there we go.
All right, well, good to hear, boys. So Christian, since you're new to this game, you can stay quiet if you want to for the moment. But what we're going to do next is pop into a little bit of geeky news. So this is kind of anything that's kind of piqued the interest of the panel here in terms of anything unusual or video game stuff, or of course Star Wars stuff, new movie stuff. Anything like that. And I actually had just a quick story to kick it off. Microsoft has actually created an Xbox Onesie. Have you guys seen this yet?
Yep. No.
So it's only available in Australia, but it is basically a giant white onesie with a hoodie and your gamer tag on your chest that you're supposed to play, or you're supposed to wear while you're playing Xbox. It's got room for your controllers and your headset ports and all sorts of stuff. Nick and Dane, being the biggest Xbox fans that I know, but you guys wear a onesie with your Xbox.
If I had a onesie to play Xbox, I would not have time to go to work. So, that being said, now, I would have worn it back when Nick and I were playing Battlefield there pretty
religiously,
hard.
Yeah.
Religiously. So, right now, I don't even know how much they are. They're probably expensive.
I don't think they're not for sale right now, at least not that I can see, but they will be coming soon. Can I entice your vote maybe if I tell you that they have things like enlarged pockets to fit your Xbox controller, an arm pouch for quick and easy access to your mobile phone, rollable arms and legs so you can easily let loose, forearm grips to prevent slipping from the edge of your seat, moments or chafing others, I don't know, extra large hoodie to accommodate headsets, and your very own embroidered gamer tag, which I didn't mention before. Any of that piqued your interest?
You had me at no chafing. I'm in.
Yeah, right.
I'm in for that. What am I, straddling a horse while I'm playing? I don't know.
Certainly not if you're wearing an Xbox onesie.
It sounds like they cut themselves short. They should have just gone straight to the Green Man suit and just made an Xbox onesie Green Man suit for Dane. That would have been fantastic.
Patent pending, gentlemen.
Nick, did you have any thoughts?
The idea was born here.
I always thought that if they had feeties on it, then I'd play the game just so I could run around as like a shrouded Xbox player, quite literally just sniping people from the kitchen and then diving into the foyer and then eventually passing out in Trump's room. That's probably how I'd play my game if I was wrapped in Xbox memorabilia.
Just Doritos powder all over your shoulders.
You're forgetting about it, yeah. I mean, that's pretty much the Code Red and Doritos, Cooler Ranch. That's how I'd spend my days in an Xbox onesie. Playing Xbox 360 though. Is the 360 version of the Xbox onesie just a sphere around you? Is that like?
There's no difference. I think it's literally just one onesie to fit them all.
Well, I mean that's backwards compatible. Does it have it backwards on it?
little shoot.
Yeah, these are the shoot out the back door, for when you got to go, Xbox onesies.
Right.
Right.
Christian Roberts, any thoughts on an Xbox onesie?
Using one, but I could see Laos in one for sure.
I feel like you have.
Hey, listen, just because I packed one with me doesn't mean to wear it with me every day.
Well, actually, you're gonna be in Australia soon, aren't you?
New Zealand.
New Zealand. Okay, well, pick one up from those Kiwis, man.
You're already in prime robe country. I mean, I don't know what you want from the rest of us.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Right? You guys asked me if I could be a part of this geek conversation because I'm in Tokyo. Like, what's this conversation?
That's true. Well, it's certainly for the beard. I mean, you're here for the beard. Got to give you that.
Well, the beard had to be present in this because I see Laos is trying to rock one, but
Football season, son. College. Get on my level, bro. El Bandito Rojos making a comeback.
Anybody else have any thoughts on that? Because I have one more article for this. And it actually has to do with Microsoft as well. So
Let's hear it.
all right. So this one, boys, and Nick, I think you can lead this conversation. The HoloLens is making a reboot. What do you have to say about that? Have you heard anything about it? Have you read the article?
HoloLens was it was one of the best things that never took off, in my opinion, or at least was never available, I should say. They debuted it not this E3, but about 2 years ago, E3, 1 or 2 years ago. And they said it was great. They showed it off very well with the augmented reality. It looked beautiful. It functioned amazing on stage. But at the end of the day, you never got it. So it was this thing that they were broadcasting, they were advertising, and then you just wanted and then never got. I mean, there was nothing you could do about it. You could never sit there and put your face in hot lava in Minecraft as much as you wanted to, which is what I wanted to use it for. So, I mean, that's my take on it, is that it wasn't available when they said it should have been, and it still isn't. So, still quite disgruntled.
Well, from my understanding in this article that I was reading on Geek.com, basically the HoloLens has a development edition, which is out, but it's about $3,000, and it's an augmented reality headset, like you said, and you won't find it in stores anytime soon. Nobody else can see this hologram. You basically, like you said, put it on your head. It's a visor, and it projects that, and you can kind of manipulate it as you see fit. I think it's a long time out. I really don't think that it's going to be anything that kind of snakes the market, especially not at a $3,000 tag. Dane, did you have anything about the HoloLens? I mean, you're an Xbox guy. Anything at all?
If it's going to take me back to the 90s where I'm watching a reboot, I'm all for it. If I'm hanging out with Dot Matrix and Foe, I'm all for it. So, like I said with the VRs before, expensive, not really my thing. We'll see where it goes.
The funny thing is, when I read this article, reboot didn't kick in, and then all of a sudden you said reboot, and this screenshot on this YouTube video here. I 100% remember this show. It was terrible. I remember this show perfectly.
Yeah, it's awesome. I loved it. I watched it. 1994, gentlemen.
Yeah, yikes. Ryan, anything to mention about the HoloLens? We kind of had our VR speak last week, but anything about that you want to add?
I kind of like this idea a little better than seeing everything just 3D like right here or through the VR like that. This is more out in front, in your surroundings in your own element type deal. So I kind of like that a little better. You can kind of alter reality, if you will. I saw a TED Talk on this a while back, and I really was intrigued. It was really engaging. But so I kind of like this idea better than what we were talking about last week there. So I hope it takes off. I really feel like it's got some potential. So
yeah, I still feel like we're a long way out, but it would be very cool. Christian Roberts, so the next thing that we have here, man, if you want to contribute to this one, we pose questions on our Facebook, on our Twitter, on our Google Plus, on YouTube, all that kind of stuff. I want to ask you the first question here, Christian. So if you can join us again, we asked our people that are paying attention, that are tuning in, to chime in to us. What is the beer that you have tried or ever tried in your life and are most disappointed with?
Ooh, it's like There's been a handful of them, to be honest with you.
There's a lot.
I mean, the overhyped Hanapu. I've had a few years of that one where I was greatly disappointed and didn't see why people would stand in line for 4 to 5 hours for that beer. Besides that, whenever somebody puts habaneros or jalapenos in a beer,
Oh no.
it really goes bad. I had only one attempt at that beer where it was like, okay, I can see that. Every other time, it's just been.
What if it's chili peppers and chili beans from Chile or wherever you were?
That was actually a great beer, but again, overly spiced, and the flavors were there, but the heat was way too overwhelming to make it qualify as a beer that just tastes like hot sauce at that point. But I mean, like, yeah, when you start throwing in all these crazy adjuncts like fruits and vegetables and peppers, it tends to go south more than it actually goes off well.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I feel the same way when they really get crazy with it. Nick, do you have anything that you've tried recently that is not, Ice House or whatever?
Oh, just throwing a low blow there. Other than Steel Reserve and Ice House, I actually just I haven't been a fan, and I've applied myself several times to actually attempt to like this type of beer. But the Vita Purple Haze, it turns out it's not for me. It comes out, I'll be honest, it tastes, and I mean no discretion by this, purple. It just tastes, there's some sort of berry, there's some sort of something that I just don't agree with. And I'm not a fan of it. I've tried it several times and again, and I still continue. I've tried it in New Orleans, fresh off the line there, and it's just not a fan.
And so you say Ice House and Steel Reserve. That doesn't disappoint me because you know exactly what you're walking into with those, as well as Bud Light. It's just shit beer. It's as simple as that. Dane, have you had anything that let you down? Is the key phrase here.
Yeah, the only time that has ever happened, I was in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we kept hearing about Highlands. It was like their winter ale or their Christmas ale. And I remember I was driving around with my dad, and we were just trying to find this ale. And we tried every restaurant. We called every restaurant in the area that had it, and they're out because people were going nuts over it. We ended up going to this grocery store, and we called the lady. She said, "Yeah, I've got 2, but I'm only going to sell you 1." We're like, so she's going to sell me 1 bottle. I was like, man, people are going nuts over this thing. So we went, we bought it, and then we sent my stepbrother in like an hour later to buy the other one. So it was pretty funny. But we tried it. It was just like any other, poor ale. I don't know. It wasn't that good. It was a lot of hype, but it didn't give it we thought it would be. So.
Yeah, Ryan.
Yeah, recently I tried venturing out and having a saison. I believe I said that correctly. I forget the exact brand or brewery, but I was not pleased with my first attempt at drinking a saison. So I have actually not gone back to explore other ones yet. I know there's all different types out there, so it's a shame that one kind of ruined it for me, but very disappointed. I don't know, how do you guys feel? Have you guys had a saison beer, or have you tried a couple that you like? Maybe you could steer me in the right direction. That would be
yeah. Christian can talk about that. Right. Go ahead. Tell him why.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, it's a classic style. It's a warm fermentation ale. So that's how the farmhouse, the migrant workers on the land, the farmers on the land would actually make their beer, which the farmhouse ale, saisons was one of them. And so those flavors from the yeast are really hard to get right. They can be overwhelming and sometimes almost too much ethers, which means too much strong flowers and alcohol character to it. But again, you said Great Divide. You like that one? Great Divide makes a great saison.
Okay. I will keep that in mind the next time I'm at the store. Thank you. That is the insight I wanted to know.
I agree. The saisons they're good beer. You'd be surprised when you think that it wouldn't be good, but you'll hit one that's really good. What I'm constantly disappointed with are the shandies, and it's not that anything against beer, that shandy, that style. My wife likes sours and shandies, and every time I'm like, yeah, this is going to be great. It's going to have a little bit of citrus, a little bit of fruit, and it's going to taste like beer, and it never does. But again, a shandy essentially is beer and lemonade. So what am I trying to look for? It's really just a pipe dream that I keep chasing, thinking I'm going to love a shandy. So it's not really any shame on them. It's more shame on me. Did you guys have any other stories or anything else that you want to share about your recent travels here in the beer realm? Anybody?
I just enjoy the thought that you're looking for a lemonade.
Yeah, right. I'm never looking for those. Those are Jenny. That's my wife.
Yeah, of course. Looking for one while you're in between the gym and going shopping.
Dude, every time I try one of those shandies, it just reminds me of those brass monkeys used to make orange juice and beer.
It's like you can't really be disappointed, but at the end of the day, I always drink the next one hoping that it's going to be good, and I just never like them. So
Big letdown.
Shame on me, man. That's all.
Yeah.
So, guys, this is going to kind of wrap it up a little bit here, but, the next week that we're going to do, we'll go through the same agenda. We'll talk about some beers. We'll talk about what's going on this week. We'll find a little bit of news. We'll get some surprise guests, maybe some from Tokyo or New Zealand or somewhere else. Maybe not. This has been a great show, but we encourage everybody to come back and keep listening. Eventually, what we're going to do here is be able to really build this into a community-driven system, just like our app is. So your input helps. You can find me. You can find the company here at Brewmasters Club, both on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and YouTube. So that's at Brewmasters Club on Twitter. Christian Roberts, where can the good people find you, my friend, on the Twitter sphere and elsewhere?
You can find me at thetravelingpint.com or the Traveling Pint on Instagram.
Are you on Twitter?
I'm on Twitter as well, Traveling Pint for everything.
All right. Good to know. Dano, you got a handle for us?
Yeah, you can reach me on Twitter, DT Mirt, and Facebook, Dane Mirt.
All right. Mr. Nick, do you have a Twitter handle yet, my friend, that you can give to the good people?
Absolutely. So I do have it all ironed out. My Twitter handle is at Mr. Lousman. That is Lousman with an L. So M-R Lousman. There you can find me on my kayak travels. Do a lot of kayak camping, kayak flipping, all sorts of fun things with kayaks and things like that. So keep an eye out there, but always drinking brews on the waterways, not actually on them, near and or
just around. All right, and that's good. Mr. Ryan, where can people find you?
And no drinking or floating.
It took me 2 episodes, but I finally bunkered down and got one. So you can find me at BroodBoy813. That is BroodBoy813. So there we go.
Good to know. All right, everybody. Well, thank you again for joining us. This has been yet another episode of the Brewmasters Club, Craft Brews, and Geek News. We will tune in next time. Look forward to seeing you all then. Thank you so much.
You've been listening to the official podcast of the Brewmasters Club, Craft Brews, and Geek News. Grab a beer with the guys and be sure to subscribe to catch additional content. Add this podcast to your favorite RSS feed or iTunes. Chat with the guys on Twitter at Brewmasters Club and Facebook and online at www.brewmasters.club. Cheers!